Johnny Dangerously has an amazing cast, and in general, I enjoyed it. Though I would say that the more the film went on, the less interesting I found it. This was released in 1984. It's directed by Amy Heckerling. It's written by Harry Colomby and Jeff Harris, and we have an incredible cast, including Michael Keaton. We have Marilu Henner, Peter Boyle, Danny DeVito, DeLuise. We have Joe Piscopo. Great cast, great performances, well-written characters, interesting enough narrative. It starts off in a store, and the owner of the store catches a boy shoplifting, so he decides to tell him the story of Johnny Dangerously. And Johnny was a young boy initially who ended up becoming involved in a life of crime to pay for his mother's medical bills. And that's really interesting because obviously I don't agree with crime. I don't agree with theft, not in the slightest. But because he's doing it for a good cause, it's kind of confusing because obviously confusing with how I should feel, because obviously medical bills, I'm in the UK, we have the NHS, we're very blessed, but medical bills in the States seem to be absolutely ridiculous. And this is set in the 1910s, 1930s, the pet shops in the 30s. We flash back initially to the 1910s, and then we travel the passage of time between the two. And it's all about his ventures to get this money, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I won't say what the outcome is, but I was curious to find out if he'd be caught or if he'd ever stop leading into a life of crime. And obviously I'm not going to say it, but I found the narrative in general to be well written. The pacing was fine. I would have liked to have spent a bit more time with Johnny when he was a younger boy. I really liked that character. Not that there's anything wrong with older Johnny or Michael Keaton's performance. I think he did a really great job with the character. But for me, I would have preferred it to be a little bit more balanced. The character, despite his activities, is very likable, which I think is really important for helping us stay emotionally invested in the character's story. The rest of the characters, absolutely fine. I just think, as I said, as the narrative went on, I was never bored, but I feel like the film got off to such a strong start. And then initially with the flashback, I was really enjoying it. And then it just kind of got a little bit weaker over time, but I was never bored. It never became a bad film. The quality, for me at least, just seemed to drop off a little bit. But either way, it's a good story. I think it's rather interesting. When I went into it, I didn't realize it was set in the early 1900s. So that was something quite surprising and quite interesting. And it's a look at some of the earlier gangster movies, and I rather enjoyed that aspect of it. So it is good fun. It is quite funny. It's not laugh out loud hysterical, but it works really well. Yes, I feel like the quality lessened over time. Maybe that's a personal preference with what I find interesting, but in general, well written, great characters, amazing cast, and something a little bit different as well. I personally haven't seen any films like this, so I enjoyed that part of it. If you're curious, check it out. Johnny Dangerously, while not perfect, is still a pretty good film, and I'm happy to recommend it.